session, we're going to focus on the inside of the home. We're going to look at a couple different aspects of ventilation, interiors, and indoor air quality. They're all kind of interrelated, but we'll focus on indoor air quality first. When you're choosing materials for your home, what you want to take a look at is what kind of chemicals and makeup they have to make sure as they're in your home, they're not going to make you sick. Important components to take a look at is cabinetry, finishes such as countertops, paint, and stain. All those have compounds called volatile organic compounds, which can escape after they're in your home and make you sick. Also, things like glues have formaldehyde in them sometimes. Again, something that's not healthy for you or your home. During the construction process, there's a lot of glues, sealants, caulk that may have those compounds in them. So you need to work with your builder to make sure that they're making good choices on those materials and try to obtain low or no VOC materials at all times. Another thing is when the plumber is running his lines, he uses adhesive to put the pipes together. Most of those materials have a high VOC content. So you need to work with subcontractors to make sure they're aware of that issue too. Sealants on the outside also have high VOCs. They're not as important to get a low VOC content though, because it's outdoors and it's not trapped inside your home. So that would be an area that you don't necessarily have to have low VOC materials. Some finished materials that we did not put in this project but you would want to consider are materials that have recycled content, things that are salvaged, things that obviously have the low VOC but also use natural materials. For instance, in flooring, one of the things you would want to consider was wood salvaged floor, bamboo or cork, which are materials that are rapidly renewable, or natural product carpets such as wool, cotton, sisal. Any of those products would have a very low VOC, plus they don't have the tendency to have allergens or other pollutants that would affect the indoor air quality. Really, we encourage you to look at hard surface floors because that doesn't trap the dirt and dust. So it allows you to keep that from being airborne and affecting people who have allergies or other issues. Aside from wood, you can take a look at linoleum. You can also take concrete floor and finish it, and it becomes a very nice material. And again, low VOC, not a lot of materials that would cause issues as far as allergies. Other finished materials such as paints, you want to look for the VOC content. Interior paints, you want to make sure that it has a rating of 50 milliliters per gallon or less. If you can get 0 VOCs, that's even better. And there really are a lot of choices. You shouldn't have to pay additional now for interior paint that has a low VOC content. Same thing with stains and varnishes. You want to see if you can get something that's water-based or something that has a low VOC content. When you're looking at products, a lot of them will have some type of rating system. Some of the common ones are Floor Score, Green Guard. All of them are usually put on a product to indicate either low or no VOC or good indoor air quality aspects. Do your homework on these. Make sure that you understand what they're claiming and look to see if they're done by a third party or if they're done by the manufacturer. The other aspects as far as indoor air quality is you need to pay attention during the whole construction process about what you're bringing into the home. Materials that you bring into the home need to be stored so they don't get wet or dirty. As you have people come in and out of the house, you need to make sure that you stop the tracking of the dirt. During the construction process, you'll generate a lot of dust and dirt, and you want to make sure that it doesn't get captured into your ventilation system. And talking about a ventilation system, once you're in the home, you really want to be able to exhaust any kind of moisture or any kind of impurities that get into the air. One of the things you want to take care of is make sure that you have ventilation where you cook. A lot of ovens have a recirculating fan which cleans the air but pushes it right back into the home. You want to make sure that it's exhausted to the outside so that you're pulling all that bad air out. Same thing as we talked about ventilation for the whole home, we have what's called a heat recover ventilator, which takes the pollutants from the home and pulls them through an area that allows it to exchange heat with the fresh air that's coming in. That saves you energy because you're not losing all that heat, but you have a constant supply of fresh air. And when it comes to things such as interiors, you want to make sure that you're choosing materials that have long durability, easy to clean, easy to maintain, so you're not replacing those. Other things you want to take a look at is make sure that you avoid things that will only last a couple of years. Plastics, anything that is man-made that is subject to wear and tear, start choosing materials such as wood or hard surface materials. Carpets will catch dirt, that affects indoor air quality. Hard surfaces are easier to clean. We all like carpet, so if you're going to choose carpet, look for a couple things. Again, you want to make sure it doesn't outgas. You also want to make sure that it's made with recycled materials, and then try to pick as low pile as possible so it is easy to clean when you're living in the home. Other things that you want to take a look at is things like wall surfaces, anything that's going to be subject to wear and tear. If it's easy to clean, easy to maintain, you're not going to be painting again, and again, subjecting yourself to all those fumes when you paint and clean. When looking at cabinets, you want to pay attention to a couple different things. You want to take a look at both the face frame and the interior. The face frame, you want to take a look at the finish and what kind of wood it's made out of. The finish could possibly have VOCs in it. And the wood, you really want to try to get something that's sustainable, either in harvesting or something that is easily renewable. The interior of the cabinet is typically made of some type of particle board. That's where you need to pay attention to see if any of the glue used for that particle board has formaldehyde in it. The flooring material we chose is marmoret, which is the new version of linoleum. And it has a couple good aspects when you look at green construction. One, it has a tendency to last longer than vinyl flooring, so you don't have to replace it as often. It's easier to maintain and clean, and it's made of materials that have low outgassing and are recyclable or renewable. That pretty much finishes our focus on the interior. Now we're going to change to the outside of the home. Our next subject is going to be decking and landscaping.